so we're going to do a walkthrough finally with our house. So you just have to ignore the furniture configuration. We're not fully set on the decoration, but the house is almost done. There's still some things that need to be done, but we're told over and over again that will never change. So we figured better late than never, or at least we're getting done. One of the two. All right, we're gonna go. This is the house. Frederick Meltzer's got that. It was built in 1894, and it's called a villa. It's meant to be a single-family home. On this side of the city, it was mostly ship captains and those types of things. Now the university's like a block away, so there's a lot of students here now. But it's starting to come back to families who live here. And so yeah, come on inside, I'll show you. Gabby!
We're renting a dog.
Come on, Gabby. She looks a lot like Ruby, so sometimes her name is Gabby, so sometimes we call her Ruby instead of Gabby. Gabby! Come on, Pea. Come on, little girl. Yeah. Where's the kitty? Okay, come on in. Don't look at the code. All right. Whoa. This is the entryway. This is shared by the main floor flat and our flat. So you have to go up a flight of stairs to get to our main living area. But this used to all be, I don't know if this will translate, but this is the grade that our entire home was sprayed with. You can see they like just sprayed over everything. It's like a gunboat gray. It's just hideous. So we painted all out here, black and white, and we will put a frame up on this side and a frame up on this side with pictures of the outside of the building. One that Drew took, and then one that I contacted the Bergen Archives and see if they had any archival pictures of the building. And the oldest picture they have is like 1969, 1974, something like that. But it's a cute little picture. So black and white, we'll put that up there as well. And then this little number we got, I think this is like, I don't know what design this is, maybe Rococo, I don't know. But anyway, we got this off of like the equivalent of Norwegian Craigslist. Gabby, it's all about me. It's all about me. Yeah. You must need to take my picture. Cute little thing. So there goes my alarm for the bread. So yeah, so this is actually ours, but there was nothing out here except for umbrellas. And then
And bicycles.
And bicycles, yeah. And keep an eye on the floor. It'll come up later. So this is our entryway. This is our foyer. So Drew had this great idea to use or get this jump seat so we can sit here and change our shoes. So I'm just going to put my outside shoes. Everybody in Norway, they take their shoes off before going into people's houses. So that's the cultural standard. But out here, not out there, but once it's our property, we have a heated floor here so that in the winter our shoes aren't freezing cold when we put our feet in it. But then in here we also will put wood here. Right now we're using it for storage, this space here. And then we'll put pictures up here. We haven't done that. We'll maybe get that done this week, actually. It's the project we're working on. But again, think about the fact that this was all just that gunmetal gray, the entire part, including the ceiling and all the trim. And we painted it white and black. We replaced the brass because they were old. And then I just cleaned the brass kick plates. And then we have these cool little, I don't know, theater lights so that we don't have to have the full lights on. So it just adds a little mood It's mood lighting. But that way we can have it on without having to worry about having the full lights on. But these are the full lights. This is our main living area. When we first moved in, the kitchen door was here. And then this area was like had the washer dryer here. And then like this little tiny little toilet with literally a sink this big. So we kind of changed the walls around so that it was better use of space. Plus the washer dryer I prefer to have up on the second floor where our dirty clothes are and our clean clothes are. And then we built, Drew had built this in, and we added the molding and the hardware ourselves. And we have little salmon fish down here so that we had a place to put, because there's so many different coats that you need for all the different weather. It's like, it's raining, it's showering, it's pouring, it's foggy, it's semi-wet, it's cold, it's snowing, it's just everything. So we also have a place for our shoes, and Drew has a place for his backpacks, and that's where the fuse box is. That was a pain in the ass. This door was actually, this is the back door, the fire door, and it was all just solid. But one time we came in and they were working with this door open, and I realized how much more light it provided in here. So they just cut holes in this door and put the glass through. And because there's a little window out there, you can see this is what apparently the old house colors used to be, is all of this like orange and gray and brown. It's just wild colors. It's pretty. But we're told that there used to be an artist that lived here, I think in the 80s. And it probably is left over from that. Here's our little powder room. And we found this cabinet on the equivalent of Craigslist, Norwegian Craigslist, which is Finn. It's called Finn. And so we bought it off Finn for like $60 equivalent. And then we just cleaned up the hardware, and then Drew cut holes in it and painted the interior red, but he cut a hole in it so that the all the pipes and everything will fit. And then we just installed it onto the back of the wall. Yeah, and then there's this light from the window here, but we put the tile in. There's micro cement on the floor. It got really beat up because this is the room that the construction people used to use. And so we really need to have the micro cement guy come back in and put another layer on, because it looked just like silk before. And it's still really lovely, but it's just a little beat up. It's got, it's really, this also got the underfloor heating in here, although it's been so hot, we haven't been using it. We have finally have the stained glass window in the door, but it's the dimensions for the window opening were not right or something. Plus we want to use the old molding because it's a little bit more decorative. So we're working on that, and that's something that still needs to get done. We have a contact name that probably can make the trim molding, which is, it's just one of those things. It's on the list. We'll eventually get there. And this is our kitchen. So I designed this kitchen. Everybody likes the color. I really like the color, but it's not a Norwegian color. It's not a Norwegian color at all. So it's very unique to Norway, especially the size. So the original size of the kitchen was from there to here. And the kitchen sink was like about this big. You could just like maybe get one dinner plate in there. And then the dishwasher was literally like this wide. And then that was a bedroom. So we took the wall out and we're using the whole space. And to put the beam up, which we're still needing to stain so that it matches more of the other wood in the room. Yeah, it's meant to be a working kitchen. So we have a place to sit if we want to have breakfast. I tend to use this for my workspace. You can see got my stuff here. And we have a big pantry here with the pull-out drawer so that we have lots of space for that type of stuff. Lots of space up here. So this side is meant to be open, and it's really that side is the side that we do most of our cooking on. And then this side is like mostly for storage. So there, we've got the pantry. This is our freezer. I have cookbooks here, pots and pans here, baking pans there. This ladder, it was at the bottom of the emergency exit stairs. And they're like, I don't know whose it is. So I'm like, well, I'm taking it. So it's like, it's the only way we can get up to those storage areas there. So it worked out really well. So got it for free, and that's the best price ever. It's pretty heavy, but it's sturdy. And then we have a butler pantry for like liquor and glasses. Yeah, it lights up. And then the refrigerator in here. This is a giant for Norwegian size refrigerator. This is giant. So just, I mean, even having 3 crispers is just huge for Norwegians, and they just think it's just giant refrigerator. And then this is a tower. So we have a coffee machine. So you just, you have the, oh, it's gonna, shouldn't have done that. Anyway, you have different options. It's like, I want a latte, I want a espresso, and you just push the buttons and it gives you what you want. And then this is a microwave / oven. So you can use it either as a microwave or an oven. And then this is oven with my bread in there, and it just turned off on me. So I'm having to try again. But I tend to make 2 loaves of bread at once. So the first one worked out without a problem. Fingers crossed the other one. I mean, it'll still taste good. It'll just be wonky. I think it might be a little flat. And then Drew's going to build a spice shelf here. It'll be like the same kind of wood that has the other wood accents like this. These pieces of wood that we have in here, they're like wood that was used and then reused. When they reused the wood, so basically at some point in time, not these pieces of wood, but other pieces of wood with these pieces of wood had runes written on it. So it had been used and reused so many times it had the runes writing, which is kind of like, the equivalent like Sanskrit. Not that old, obviously, but, like old writing, old Norse writing. We were going to put a French balcony out here, but it just got too complicated, and which is kind of as it turns out, it was a good thing, because what we realized is the further out we would go there, the more we would be the view would be hidden by the buildings that are in front of us. So it wouldn't really give us what we were looking for anyway. It was just meant to be a short, like 60-centimeter French balcony. But yeah, we can see Foyer from here, and it's actually, an incredibly lovely day. So the view is beautiful. But we get lots and lots of light in here, so it's nice. This room and the living room and the dining room all had just bare wood beams. So we whitewashed the beams in here. We didn't want to cover the beams. In fact, we didn't cover any beams with gypsum. We kept them the traditional way. So in here, it's just the beams with a whitewash over it. And then this is the only door in the house that was not painted. So we left it unpainted because we think it's beautiful. It needs a little love, so we're going to have to put some like wax on it. But we want to keep it the way it was. And then in here, again, the living room and the dining room, they had just the bare beams. And the reason that we fell in love with this house was the crown molding, or I don't know, it's not crown molding, it's molding, but it's got what's called rose mauling, which is a traditional art form. You can see there's all this rose mauling on there, and it's very rare to find that in houses because if you've seen Danish modern, it's very just basically white gypsum walls, white ceilings, white walls, very minimalist. And so to have this, and then to have the rosettes, apparently the rosettes are basically almost extinct in this town. So it's really, really rare to find those. And we have one in the dining room and one in the living room. And we contacted someone who knew how to cover the walls in the base in the old-fashioned way. Basically, it's burlap that's like pulled tight, and somehow you pull it and then you put paper over it.
Yeah, the glue on the paper dries and stretches it.
Yeah, so it's that the living room has paper on it, and this has paper but wallpaper paper, and this is period wallpaper called William Morris. So this is wallpaper that we ordered and then traveled to Germany to pick it up. 'Cause it's just a unique pattern. And then we had them build the wainscoting because that also felt very, very period. This table, I don't know if I told you about this table, but this table we got when we were originally looking in showrooms, like this kitchen showroom that we went to, they had this table in there. And I have always wanted a big table. In fact, Drew even said one year, just before we left, that he was going to build me a big kitchen table like this in Seattle. And then we moved. So then when we saw this, I was like, well, would you sell this? And she's like, well, it's actually not something we sell in the store. It's something that just came with the store. But then she said, yeah, we'll sell it to you. So we got it. And it's heavy. And it not only that, it also is bigger because you have an extension on this side and an extension on that side. So it's mighty, mighty long. And then all these chairs we got off Finn for free. Drew's dad made that clock, grandfather clock. And then Drew's in the process of building a radiator cover for this. It'll have a screen in the front and a piece of marble on top. And I'm getting rid of this. So if anybody wants my old desk, let me know. And then this is all my knitting yarn. And this is our living room. We, again, it's just paper walls. I don't know if you can see, but basically if you touch it, it moves a little. It's got a little movement in it. So once you put a nail hole in it, it's there. And then our train table that we brought from Seattle, so big, and we're not exactly sure what to do with it. At first I thought it didn't fit anywhere, but now I'm thinking, it's actually kind of a little showpiece. But it takes up a lot of real estate. And we want, each one of the kids said that they couldn't take it. And it's true, the kids probably would have not had room or place. I mean, only one of the four have purchased a home anyway, so everybody else rents. So it's just not something that's easy to, pack in a bag. So we'll see what we are going to do with that. I'm going to recover the sofa so that it fits better with the room. This is IKEA. We're not keeping that. Again, don't look at decor. But this came with the house. This is an old oven, actually heater that heated the 3rd floor. So we cleaned it up and we're using it as art. And then Drew's going to build a TV station over here so that the TV's just not sitting out. They'll have like a nicer cabinets at the bottom and then maybe shelves on top. So yeah, right now we're trying to figure out, we had stained the floor a black, and it's just too dark and splotchy. So at this point we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors, and we're seeing which ones we like best. And then when I'm in the States, Drew's going to refinish the floor in here. All right, and then up to the 3rd floor. This used to have a wall and a door here, but we took that out so that we opened it up. This is a utility cabinet where we had to install our water heater, because originally we were sharing the water heater with the basement apartment, and we had to bill them their portion of water. It was ridiculous, so that was a big fight. But we finally just made room and we put our water heater up here. All throughout the house, other than the living room and dining room, they had just thrown carpet down, big splotch of glue and just carpet. And so we had to pull up the carpet, and all the floors were ruined because it couldn't get the glue off. So we had to get all new floors, except for in the living room and dining room. And then this hallway, this was where the test, where I was like gonna try and pull up the carpet and try and fix it. And it was a nightmare. It took weeks to get, not every day, but it took weeks to get the glue off. We had to use acetane and paint remover and sanding, several versions of sanders, and it was just a nightmare. But we finally got most of it off, but we couldn't stain it. It was still just so destroyed, so we had to paint it. So we painted it with matching the stairs. So there you go. Here's Drew's office. This is typical Drew. This used to be, it still is a very tiny room, but he's managed to fix it up so that it meets all of his needs. We added this sound reducer or echo reducer. Anyway, it's just wood with some, what is back there?
It's a sound dampening fabric.
Because he does the editing, it helps. But he does like to have pictures on the walls. Yeah. That's his office. And then this is what we call the rumpus room. And this is where the construction guys did most of their construction. And it's the last room that is just a shithole, frankly. So we put these in because we needed some place to put our clothes, because there's literally not a closet in this place other than what we've now put in. But we also put in the cabinets there. And then what's underneath this big window, we call this big window the nose cone room, or the nose cone, because it looks like a B-52 bomber nose cone. But that was one of the things that was leaking, that they had to pull up the floor in here, and they thought they were going to have to put or maybe they did put a brand new beam, because it was all destroyed from the moisture and dampness. But so many things that, because we weren't actually going to do anything to this room other than kind of decorate it and move a wall like this much over here. But a lot more had to get done, including this. They had to paint the outside and the inside with a special paint that they had to try and find so that it would help with the condensation, because it also had a lot of condensation on it. But in doing that, we decided to put the cabinets, and then this with all of our construction stuff or paint stuff, tools and everything. That's going to be a bookshelf, but on top it's a window seat. And yeah, I have a whole bunch of pillows that I'm collecting for the day that I can actually use that window seat, because you can see how much light there is from that window, and it's just a cozy little nook to sit there, and you can see outside and you can see the sky comes down. It's just going to be, especially when it's like snowing, it'll be really, really cozy. And then you have your books right there. Piece of cake. Up here is the loft. We have I guess a queen size bed up there. I can't imagine who would go up there. If you are interested, you're welcome. And then on the other side, we have all of our storage stuff, even though we do have a storage unit downstairs in the backyard, but it's, you know, there's so much moisture here that we were careful what we put there. It's our bedroom. And it's one of the things that we said when we were looking for a house was there were certain requirements that we had to have, and one was that this bed frame had to fit into the bedroom, that we weren't going to do any kitchen or bathroom remodeling because that was the most expensive, and that it had to have a balcony off the main living floor, and it had to be on the not more than one flight up. So, you know, one of the 4 we got out of none of the other ones did we keep to, because it's just one of those things when you step into something and you think, oh my God, this is right for us. And we're happy here, so it worked out. But this wall used to have a little nook in it. So this wall was this down here, but then it came out here to there. And then so it would have been, I guess, like this much shorter, like a foot shorter. And there used to be, the door was like, I guess 3 feet closer. So it was a tiny little room. So we blew out that wall and moved this wall back so that we could fit our bed in here. And it fits perfectly. So yeah, and then we have this lovely view of Foyer, and you can see Ulriken from here. Yeah, we can keep this window open at night if it's not raining, and then it's just got this. We wake up to this beautiful view of the mountain next door on the other side of the city. It's lovely. And then this was clearly an addition here after, I don't know what year that would have been.
Probably 68.
68, yeah, because it's all new from this point. So this is all original from the original build in 1894, but this is much newer. And we call this the train hallway because it's got this weird, look, it feels like you're in a train here. And then this is our bathroom. And then, so we found this tile, and I love this tile, but our contractor, when we originally ordered the tile, he didn't know us well enough then, and he did what I'm certain that all contractors do. They think, oh, the homeowner doesn't necessarily know, so he ordered a little bit more. And so we're like, okay, because we didn't like what was in our entryway down at the bottom of the stairs where I changed my shoes. So he said, well, we can use the extra down there. And we're like, that's great. But then the entryway that was shared with our apartment and the first floor apartment, we're like, that also needs to be changed. So we just ordered just a little bit more and he got the same discount because he's a wheeler and dealer. So this tile was only meant to be in here, but now it's all on the foyer and the vestibule. But I don't mind because I really like it. The only thing we kept from this bathroom, which is a stone, I don't know what it is. And then Drew ordered these like cabinetry from, I don't know where.
Denmark.
And it was tricky because there's a window here. And so if you put a mirror here, you can't see yourself if it's flush on the wall. So we had to find just the right size mirror and tip it out a little bit so that I could see myself. Drew can't see. He can only see, he can see his like nose, from his nose down, but I can see myself when I'm like brushing my teeth and putting my face on. I don't know. I don't wear makeup anymore, so. But anyway, our shower, and then our big tub fits too. We have a kind of building a tradition of after a long Saturday of working on the house or working around, we jump in together and have a drink and catch up on the day. So it's very nice. And we have the light that comes in, and it's very lovely. And then our washer dryer. And then finally there's the rooftop terrace. So we passed this, and I didn't tell you what that is, but basically this pile of shoes is for going up to the terrace, because the stairs up there are the hard metal with the holes in it. It hurts your feet. So that's for guests and stuff to go up to the terrace. And then this is our terrace. Now it used to look like Rooftop next door, where it was almost just the tar paper, you can see. And then we learned that it was faulty and it was causing all of the water damage, which is right below us, which is the bathroom that we were just in. And so we had to not only redo the bathroom, which we weren't planning on doing, we also had to redo this area, terrace. But it turns out that it worked out really nicely because it's got a lovely wood floor that Drew can pull up and clean. Notice I said Drew can pull up and clean. And then one of Drew's projects for the end of the summer is to stain up here. But we have this great view of the mountain, Foyer, Ulriken. And then I always think the rooftops over here reminds me of those iconic films that show like the rooftops of Paris, you know, that kind of stuff. It feels like it. So anyway you are sitting, 3 of the 4 directions are just really lovely. And then Drew designed the bench and all of the plants he put in. They're a little, it's been crazy hot recently, very unseasonably hot, and they've kind of gotten a little leggy, but they were lovely and they attract a lot of the bumblebees, which is fabulous. Yeah, that's it for the quick walkthrough, which was I think an hour and a half. I don't know, it's probably way too long, and hopefully I don't know if you're still here or not, but I realize I went on a long time, but I know it was overdue, and hopefully it gives you an idea of what it looks like today. And then if you watch Drew's series, you'll be able to see what it looked like when we moved in. And I can also show pictures if you're interested, but we'll do a before and after thing. Drew will do a before and after thing for his moving to Norway series, but now you have an idea of what our house looks like and where we live. So love you guys.